Hi guys, my name is Mia Bella. I want to talk about my assessment paper and the 5 communication skills that I came up with either being a weakness or a strength. The five communication skills that I came up with was empathy, nonverbal communication, confidence, emotional reactivity, and mind reading assumptions. One of my biggest, I personally think, strengths is empathy. I've always been an empathic person, or an empath, when it does come to communication, because I care for so many people that I'm communicating with, obviously, and I care for people. I always want to hear their side of the story, because I know everybody has their moments, things happen, and in communicating, you need to hear that person's side of the story, because you can't, which has to go with another thing, because I assume, but you can't really assume their side of the story. So I try to work on that, and I've always been able to hear people's side of their story, understand where they're coming from, things like that. I've just always been really strong in that area, I believe, because I genuinely want to hear what people have to say, because it definitely fixes the conflict. It helps with communicating with people, all types of stuff. So yeah, that's one of my biggest. It's helped me solve a lot of problems, because I've come to the conclusion, I think about it, I'm like, hey, and now I see their side of the story, and I understand why they did that. People have their moments, like I said. Also, another thing, one thing that I really kind of struggle in, and kind of is a strength, is nonverbal communication. I'm really good with, verbalizing with people. People can see my emotions through the way I speak, the way I smile. I'm really good with talking to people like that, but also it can be one of my weaknesses, because when I do get into situations with people, I go nonverbal really badly sometimes. Like, for instance, with my boyfriend, if we get into an argument, sometimes I shut down really fast, and I've noticed it recently. I usually never am like this, but I've just been like this recently, where I'll literally just go quiet and sit in a corner, and I'm just stuck, I don't want to talk. So that's definitely one of my biggest weaknesses right now. I definitely have to start working on that, but that is not very good at all in a relationship at all. You need to talk things out. You need to talk about it, because if it just sits there, it's going to get worse over time, and it's just not going to be good. You want to talk about that stuff. So that's definitely one of my weaknesses. And like I said, the reason why it would be my strength in a way is because I'm really good with communicating. It just depends on the relationship or the conflict that's going on. It literally depends on the situation that's going on, because I'll either go nonverbal or go really verbal, and I'm like, okay, I want to fix the situation, But usually at first I'm nonverbal for a sec, and then I'm like, wait, I don't want to be acting like that. So definitely something I still need to work on. Confidence is a really big thing. I have trouble with my confidence in general, like physical confidence, and it does mess with my communication with confidence, because when I talk to somebody, I'm automatically overthinking, okay, I'll say something and I'll be like, I don't feel confident about what I'm saying. I feel like I'm sounding stupid. I feel like I'm not saying the right thing. I feel like I messed up by saying it. I feel like I'm being dramatic. It's my overthinking situation, and then it just gets to my confidence. So that's definitely another thing that I'm really weak in right now, is my confidence in speaking. Especially sometimes if I think about, if I'm having a conversation with somebody, we are making eye contact. Gosh, I can't speak. Eye contact. And I start thinking about the eye contact. Confidence is cooked right there, because I'm just thinking about wait, we're making eye contact, I'm getting awkward, I can't do this, and then I start jittering. So it's just not the greatest thing. So that's definitely one of my weaknesses, but I think it can be also a strength, because I am very confident in some things that I talk about. If I'm having a really confident day, I will have the best confidence conversation ever. I will be able to say what I want to say, and especially if it's a really serious situation and I don't want to be in that situation, I will have so much confidence talking about it, and I will say what I need to say in that moment. I just have my days. Everybody has their days. But yes, that's definitely a weakness and can be a strength sometimes. And then also another one is, where is it? Sorry guys, sorry. Giving respectful feedback. I personally, that is one of my good strengths. I'm really good at giving feedback to people, whether it's a friend and they're going through something and nobody's telling them about it. I'm gonna tell them the truth. Or if I'm feeling like somebody's gaslighting me, I'm gonna have to tell you the truth about that. So I feel like I'm good at giving it, but I give it respectfully. I'm not gonna be very disrespectful. I'm like, hey, I didn't really like that you did that, or hey, let's switch that up because I didn't really like this. You know, it's better to say something than let it sit. And then if you let it sit and, you know, you're getting angry about it over time, you're gonna blow up. So that's definitely something that I try to make sure I say in every argument. I might sit there and, you know, nonverbal for a sec, but then I'm like, wait, we need to talk about this, and I say everything. I put it on the line. It might be too much for people, but that's how I communicate sometimes. And then last thing is mind reading assumptions. I suck with assuming. I assume a lot when I'm having a conversation, especially in my relationship. It's been happening a lot recently. I'll say something and I'll assume, and then it just makes us argue, and it's just not it's not okay to be doing. So that is definitely something I have to work on, because that just causes so much conflict between us, and it literally makes my partner feel unheard, and I genuinely feel horrible about doing that. But it's definitely a weakness I have to work on. But yes, I definitely don't recommend doing that, guys, because your partner feels unheard. It's not nice. It's not because, you know, me personally, I just overthink and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, and then I assume things. But it's just not nice to do, and you just kind of have to keep it chill, have patience, and calm yourself down, because that just causes conflict and drama and you don't want it. So that's what I wrote about, guys. Those are some things that I'm struggling in. I hope somebody can relate so I don't embarrass myself. But yes, that was what I wrote about